Arteta was a coward today. And as much as that is going to trigger some Arsenal fans right off the bat, as much as some Arsenal fans are going to hate on me for it, listen, you've loved the Football Terrace, you've loved myself when I've praised Arteta and when I've defended Arteta, and I will still do that when it is necessary. But for me today, it was a cowardly approach to the beginning of the game. The midfield that he picked, the attack that he picked, I felt it was very safe, very simple, and it was the antithesis to what was needed. Now, I think what's happened in this, I think people have been, I think Pep has called everybody's bluff. Is he really going to become a pragmatic, even dogmatic at times manager? Is his team really going to, is Pep really going to adopt the tactics? And this is what's beautiful. You know, when people say, can you tell me tactics that any other top manager has copied from Sir Alex Ferguson? Can you tell me the tactic that any other top manager has copied from Jose Mourinho? Pep Guardiola's doing it this season, 24-25. You always have to look at the context of football at that time, the season, the teams you're up against. There's always context and nuance that's needed. We've got to stop this extremism when it comes to talking about football. Footballing extremism is going to kill the game. For me, I think, though, I don't know if Arteta... Two things here. One of two things. Arteta was cowardly, or he didn't think that was going to be Pep's approach. And he thought Pep's team were going to attack and be open, and he wanted a really big, solid team to nullify that attack and try and catch them on the counter. But it went Pep's way in the first half. They scored a very early goal, a great break. Erling Haaland, listen, there's other great strikers in this league. Erling Haaland is a level above all of them. You can debate it. I'm not getting involved. I know what I just said is the absolute God's honest truth. It's as simple, it's as straightforward as that. You can't get away from it. It's the truth, God damn it. He is. It was such a well-worked goal. And I think it really hit Arsenal hard, and they didn't have the creativity on the pitch. They didn't have the midfield. They didn't, in my opinion, have the front line to really break down a fantastic setup from Pep Guardiola. The colossal ice barrier, the wall, the blue wall was there. And Arsenal couldn't break it down. And I think that Mikel Arteta, again, you guys can tell me what you think. My personal feeling is, I think maybe his bluff was called a little bit by Pep, but I think he was just a little too cowardly and went into this game a little bit too safe. And Arsenal lost 45 minutes. This was a 90-minute game for City and a 45-minute game for Arsenal and its players. And one thing I've spoke about a lot at the beginning of the season is this Arsenal squad is good enough to win the league. This Arsenal team is good enough to win the league. It now comes down to whether or not Mikel Arteta is a good enough head coach and a good enough manager to get them over the line. Because they're up there with Liverpool. I think they have a better squad than Manchester City. Pep's telling you they've got a better team because he had to be the one, technically anyway, because they had to be the pragmatist today. In fact, Pep did this last week at home against Manchester United. Let's not get it twisted. It's his way now because he knows his team can't be on the front foot because they're going to get picked off. Can Mikel Arteta manage his team? Can he get them to win the league? It's the question mark. There'll be a lot of the Arteta outers are going to jump on this. I always told you. But listen, those guys aren't right by and large. They might be right about elements of Mikel Arteta, but they slag off the squad. They don't think Arsenal are actually that good. There's too much. I'm talking about the extreme guys, not the people that just don't rate Arteta. So if you go, I do rate the squad though, Terry, then I ain't talking about you. Calm your brain down. But from my perspective, I've looked at Mikel Arteta these last two seasons and gone, well, you're being judged on what you win. And I was so just disappointed in him in that first 45 minutes. And I think that the reason it's a draw today and not an Arsenal win is because of the way you started, because of that starting lineup. And although the subs were made, City's blue ice wall was up and it was so hard to penetrate. They kept on bringing on defenders. Nearly every player on the pitch, barring Silva and Doku, was over 6 foot tall. They gave Arsenal no space whatsoever. But if you watch the beginning of that second half, Arsenal were forcing Donnarumma into saves. They were breaking lines. They were opening them up. But City had a 1-0 lead. They didn't need to overly attack. Had Arsenal started with Eze on the pitch, maybe not Saka, but Eze on the pitch, the result for me would have been different. Had they brought Martinelli on a little bit sooner, I thought Martinelli really and truly should have come on 10 to 15 minutes before he did. And I criticised Arteta for this away at Liverpool. The starting lineup, okay. You can blame the players a little bit for not taking risk when they had an opportunity to slide it into Gyökeres. But he made his substitutions too late in that game. Yes, he made Eze and Saka at half-time, but still Martinelli a little bit too late in the game. I just think you needed that injection of explosive pace that late on. And I think that, for me, when I look at today's game, is something that Arsenal fans have got to put pressure on your club over. And Berta's got to be going in that dressing room. Berta has got to be knocking on that door and saying, listen, Mikel, we got on great. We've got a wonderful working relationship. But you need to be a little braver at home. By the way, go away to Man City, go away to Man United, go away to Chelsea, go away to Liverpool. I don't think there's too much of an issue with that starting lineup. I don't. I really don't. I don't buy into that go all guns blazing every big game. It's ridiculous. Why do I say it's ridiculous? It undoes the legacy of the greatest Premier League manager of all time. It just does. Liverpool don't do it either. So I think that there's got to be balance in this conversation. But that's really where Arsenal got let down today, in my personal opinion. I think Mikel Arteta, if he starts with a couple more attack-minded players, I think they beat this City. I really do think they beat this Manchester City team. But of course, I want your thoughts. I want your opinions in our comment section below. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you feel. Make sure you are subscribing as well, by the way. Make sure you have the bell notification turned on also. Very, very important to us that you turn that bell on. It really, really is indeed. I know a lot of you have already done it. I know more of you are going to do it in future. But I want to say a big thank you to every single person who has got that done. So a big thank you to each and every single one of you. I think as well, this is one of those things where Liverpool are going to be the team that walks away from this really and truly thinking, I think we've come out on top here. 5 points clear of Arsenal. I don't even know how many points they are clear of Manchester City. In fact, we can take a look here if we just skip through and we pause that. City, of course, go into the top half of the table. They go into 8th. But yeah, they're 8 points clear of City, and they are 5 points clear of Arsenal that do sit in 2nd place. So, of course, that point really important to keep them there. It's a massive afternoon for Liverpool. It really, really is a massive afternoon for Liverpool. But what is really crazy, you look there at Leeds United in 12th place on 7 points. 3 points is separating the 2nd to 12th in the Premier League. I feel like the next 4 or 5 games are so massive. Can any of those teams go on a 3, 4, 5 game winning run and pull away? Or is it going to be a win, a draw, a win, a win, a draw, a loss, a draw, a win? Are we going to go for another season like that? Because the only team at the minute that don't look that capable of dropping points is Liverpool. They always seem to find a way. They always seem to find a way to get it done. You've got the Palaces and the Bournemouths in that mix as well. But look, that Martinelli goal, who knows how important that point is going to be later on in the season. But Mikel Arteta, I think, my friend, you have to be much, much braver. Give us your thoughts, give us your opinions in that comment section below, people. Let's do it.